Beals earlier remarked how the Torah mentions a stranger 36 times. The Lord Jonathan Sacks, the chief rabbi of England, remarking on this, tells us, "Why should you not hate the stranger?" asked the Torah. "Because you once stand where he stands. You know the heart of the stranger, because you were once a stranger in the land of Egypt. If you are human, so is he. If he is less than human, so are you. You must fight for the stranger, for your own and for those of others, wherever they are, whoever they are, whatever the color of their skin or the nature of their culture. Because though they are not in your image, says God, they are in my image." And there was only one reply to the answer, why should I not hate the stranger? Because the stranger is me. As Jews, we are committed and required to remember the plight of strangers. We were strangers in the land of Egypt for many years. We were refugees. Today, we welcome refugees. We say to the Muslims all over the world and to all the people in those 7 countries, we want you here. We welcome you here. We will reach out to them with open arms and welcome them to the land of the free and the home of the brave, where they will be strangers and refugees no more.
Thank you, John. Now, we all had a long day today, and especially our elected officials. So I would like to next bring Senator Chris Coons. I know he had a long day. He just came from Washington, D.C., and he had an important vote to cast there. And if the information is correct, that was a very important vote. So please join me in welcoming Senator Coons.
Assalamu alaikum. To Sheikh Abdel-Hadi, to leaders of Masjid Ibrahim and ISD, thank you so much for welcoming us this evening, for hosting us, for giving us the privilege of this house of prayer. To my friends, rabbis, pastors, reverends, to my fellow elected officials, to the called, the elect, and the elected, to all of us who gather here tonight as citizens, as residents, as friends and neighbors of Delaware, I am so proud to have the opportunity, the challenge of speaking for all of us in a Washington that has veered beyond what I recognize. Tonight, dozens and dozens of senators and congressmen stand on the steps of the Supreme Court of the United States to say that this executive order that slams shut the doors of the United States, that ends our decades of commitment to openness to refugees, is wrong, is unconstitutional and unjust. Reverend Nate, Pastor Nate Phillips shared with you a story. And yes, I know my mother. She is a force of nature. They have not yet named a hurricane for her, but someday they shall. And all who have resisted her forceful will and her clear-eyed and commitment have learned to regret that experience. In, I think, 1975, when I was a young man and in confirmation class at Red Clay Creek Presbyterian Church, where I was raised, our congregation took the words Reverend Jones reminded us of in the Christian gospel, which says there are but 2 commandments: to love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind, and there is one other: to love your neighbor as yourself. And on this hang all the law and prophets. And as a community, seeing an incredible flood of refugees like so many other faith communities in this state and around the country, we welcomed a family of Vietnamese refugees. The Tran family was woven into the fabric of Bright Clay's life, and I got to know their children, the parents, and worked with them and volunteered with them over many years and saw them become a part of our community and our nation. And to not just survive here after having seen so much violence and dislocation in South Vietnam, but to thrive here and to really become part of the American dream. And so when my forceful mother read the challenge from Westminster to step forward and once again do something, not just pray, which is powerful, not just hope, which is important, but to act in a way to show our shared faith and our shared welcoming to strangers and our shared embrace of neighbors, not just those who speak like us or look like us or come from the same tribe or background or family or faith, but those who are least like us, and welcome the Hussein family living today, right now, in a refugee camp on the other side of the world, and to work with Jewish Family Services and with ISD to prepare an apartment, to get clothing, to get furniture, to make plans, and they were to arrive this Thursday. History is a change in direction. History happens when reality branches and turns in a direction we didn't expect. And I knew on Inauguration Day we would be making history this year. I just didn't expect this history. And this president told us what he was going to do as he campaigned. There was no mystery. He intended to implement a Muslim ban. And he's gone ahead and done it. Under the guise of keeping us safer, this executive order is not crafted to keep us safer. Under the guise of respecting American values, it doesn't respect American values. And under the guise of closing the door on those who would attack us, it actually attacks what is most central to who we've been as a nation: our openness to people of all faiths and all backgrounds, all languages and all countries. This executive order cannot stand. As so many speakers have said, I wish you could see what I see, what our governor sees, what our attorney general sees, what our elected officials, our state senator and state representatives see. This is Newark. This is Delaware. You are America. And we cannot rest. The Hussein family belongs here. The most searing day I've had as a senator. With Senator McCain and Senator Graham, with Senator Blumenthal and Senator Gillibrand, we visited a Syrian refugee camp in Jordan. I have never had a more heartbreaking conversation than with parents with young children who had fled genocide, disaster, violence, oppression, and were simply seeking our support and help to allow them to fight for their nation and for peace, and to give them the guarantees and welcome America has so long been known for. So I want you to know, I will not give up on this family. I will not give up until a day comes again when the doors of America are open to the world, when the doors of America are as open as our hearts, and when our faith once again teaches who we are about. You've heard from pastors of the Christian faith, you've heard from rabbis of the Jewish faith, you've heard from an imam of the Muslim faith, and we are not divided by this president. We are not divided by fear. We are not divided by difference. We are united here, right now, in a shared vision and a shared hope. Do not fade in the passion and determination that made you come here tonight, because this will be a long road. These will be difficult years. And history asks, where will you stand? In a moment of difficulty and uncertainty and discomfort, in a moment of chaos, and in a moment when someone has grabbed the wheel of history and jerked it sharply in a direction that perhaps does not comfort you. Ask yourself in prayerful reflection, are these your neighbors? Are we friends and neighbors? Do we share one common God? Do we share one common hope? Do we share one common nation? I know that we do. I know that we will stand together. And I have faith in all of us that we will not stop until this wrong is addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Your words were really, truly reassuring for the community here. Thank you very much. Now, I'd like to welcome our newly elected governor, John Carney. Again, Governor John Carney he had a tight schedule today, just like Senator Coons, and I got a call from his office around 5:30 asking for the details of the program. So I talked to Jessica. I said, "Are you sure Governor Carney is going to make it?" She said, "Yes." Thank you very much.
Good evening, neighbors. Good evening. If I was smart, I'd probably just stand up here and say what he said. And sit down. But I think a little bit more than that is required. I've had some amazing experiences in my 30 years in public service, 16 years as an elected official. But I don't think there's anything that I've experienced quite like what I'm experiencing here tonight. And I gotta tell you, I wasn't ready for it. I was going through my day, this is my second week on the job. And I thought we had important things to deal with in the office today. And as I was about to leave, Jessica came in and said they're having an interfaith service at the mosque in Newark tonight. Can you make it? And I thought to myself, oh, Tracy's expecting me to be home. And I said, yes, I can make it. And about 5 minutes later, I got an email from my wife, Tracy, who said, I want to go with you tonight. And she's sitting right here in the front row. And for those of you who know Tracy, and I see that there are people from her church and from Wilmington Friends School and her Quaker friends, she doesn't do these kinds of events. And so when she said she wanted to go, I knew this was really, really, really important. And I always feel a little bit uncomfortable speaking in a place of worship like this, particularly after we've heard from an imam, a couple rabbis, some priests, and a United States Senator who talked to his mother tonight. When I was driving down here, I felt really, I didn't know how to feel. Sad, mad, angry, discouraged. But I gotta tell you right now, my heart is full. It's full of people of faith. Every kind of faith in our state. It's full of our neighbors, whatever faith they belong to. It's full of people who love and respect one another. That's the kind of Delaware that I know. That's the Delaware that I love. That's the Delaware that it's my distinct privilege to lead as your governor. And I will assure you that we will welcome the refugees, the immigrants, the stranger. We will respond to our religious calls, whether we're Jews, Christians, Muslims, of no faith, to look off after Matthew 25, my faith, the least of us. And I got to tell you, I feel so confident tonight in this room, in this mosque, that we will overcome. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Governor. Now, given the shortage of time, not all